Hi, my name is Courtney. I'm going to be doing a 5-minute documentary between race and ethnicity and how it affects people during their lives through employment, through education, through social environments, and the difference between race and ethnicity. Race has a lot of biological factors to it, the physical traits, versus ethnicity, where ethnicity has to do a lot with the culture, the religion, ancestry. When I'm going to be interviewing these people, I'm going to be talking about how in a so like I was saying, after I interview all these people, I'm going to show you the different types of lives between how they live and how it affects them, and it's just going to show through different environments what I'm talking about. Hi, so I'm here today with Lauren, one of my coworkers. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to her about how her life was and start with our project. All right, so my first question for you is, what is your ethnicity?
So I'm Korean, and I was adopted by my mom, she's Chinese American, and then my dad is Japanese American.
Okay, and how was that like growing
up? Surprising, because I didn't actually learn this until recently, but the Chinese culture versus the Japanese culture, it's completely different. So Japanese parents, they kind of grow up kind of coddling you and really just wanting you to stay close to home and stuff like that. But in the Chinese culture, it's kind of the complete different. So your parents kind of expect you, even from a young age, to kind of just be able to do everything on your own. So just growing up, it was kind of okay when I was younger, but then as I got older, it was kind of more difficult because I just didn't know what I was supposed to do.
So which path you were going to take.
Yeah.
So for your education, how did that work out then, if you were so conflicted with that?
It was really hard talking to my parents about it, because my dad's well, just stay close, just do it, and my mom's well, just go, just do your education, doesn't matter where you're going. And I was okay, that doesn't help me at all, because I still don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it was actually really hard for me because I actually didn't go to college, so that was really hard to tell my parents about.
So not going to college, that put you into a work environment they're in, right? So you work a full-time job and you support yourself, right?
Yes.
Have you had any complications getting into a workplace because of your ethnicity? Has there been any racial harassment or any racial diversity between you and a workplace?
Definitely, I felt the effect of the diversity kind of thing. So I mean, I've been kind of lucky to work with places that don't just have one ethnicity or whatever. But I do remember this one time I was closing with my manager and someone else, and we were all kind of tired. It was a new store, whatever, and she couldn't add something together. So my manager looked at me and she was "Hey Jordan, you have a human calculator right here." And I was okay.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to react.
Oh, okay, that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
When you go out though into social environments, has that affected you? When you go to a certain bar and do you feel unwelcomed, or is there any type of setting that you remember when that kind of happened?
I feel okay, well, generally Asians stay and look young, so then it's always kind of people are looking at me and I'm okay, well, yeah, I am this old, blah blah blah. But I don't really feel super uncomfortable. But when I go to Chinese restaurants, people will start talking Chinese to me, and I'm I don't know Chinese.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So that makes you uncomfortable then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me. Hi, I'm here with my coworker Yadi, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about the same thing we were talking about before with my old coworker Lauren. We're just gonna talk about how her personal environment and how everything else was. So my first question for you is what is your ethnicity?
I am Mexican.
Awesome. So how did you grow up?
I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood. I was never really exposed to any other ethnicity up until I attended college.
How was the cultural diversity there at college? Was it different for you?
Yeah, I was actually really surprised, knowing how much ethnicity were there, around my neighborhood.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. And do you still go to college?
Yes, I'm still attending college.
Okay, and do you go to work also?
Yes, I juggle going from job to job and then from school and then having to go home to my child.
Oh wow, that's really hard, huh? To do about that. So, going from job to job, have you had any personal issues of like trying to get a job and not getting the job because you had like a racial background difference, or because you had a child? Like, how has that affected you with like the scheduling and stuff?
Yeah, I think because I didn't have like an open schedule, you know, because I had other job, I had school, I have homework, and I have my child. So they are like, no, you know what? We need someone that has more experience or someone that has an open schedule.
So you didn't feel like, for as your race, has it been an issue?
Up until this point, no. Just because I have where I live, like I said, it's a Mexican neighborhood, so I feel like I'll be good there.
That's
It's just
okay. That's good. And so, have you, in your workplace, have you ever felt like a racial harassment or any like type of harassment for you?
in a job, yes, just because I feel like, well, I am the only Mexican there.
Mhm.
So I feel like people look at me like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing, you know,
Yeah.
like, because I'm all around like white people, like
And
Asian.
then you're
Yeah,
in that
so
exact
I am the
neighborhood.
only Mexican.
That makes sense. So you feel that type of. Has anyone ever said anything to you because of that?
Luckily, no.
Very good. I live in a classy enough neighborhood.
Yes.
So the last question I have for you is, in your social environment, when you go out, when you go partying, or you hang out with your 2-year-old child, do people look at you different? Like, how do you feel when your race is like your type of that stereotypical
Yes.
with your child? Like, how do you feel about that?
I feel very uncomfortable because I feel like people are judging me like, okay, you know, she looks very young, she has a 2-year-old, like, what is she doing with her life? Like, does she even go to work or does she do anything? But I am trying to provide anything for my child, so, you know, I'm trying my best.
So do you not go out then, right? Because it like makes you uncomfortable? Because
Yeah, because people are always staring and I
So-
feel like they're always judging.
So do you still think that racism exists in our today's society?
I do think so. I think people are always gonna judge. To me, I think so. So
Yeah, I also agree. Well, thank you for interviewing me. I'll see you at work.
thank you. Thank you.
So after learning all about this, I really started to get close to my coworkers, and I didn't realize how hard it was for them to like, they're going through their lives, and like after doing all this, it really makes sense to why they work so hard in their life and what they grew up from, and like it's just a whole different like cultural background and like their diversity in it. It just really makes me happy to get to know them and like to share their stories with you guys. It's just really great to know, because I know other people. My one white male friend, he just graduated college, his parents pay for everything, college, car insurance, his new truck, like anything he wants, and you know, like they work so hard, and it's just so grateful for them because they're my friends and they show me how to live a new life and how to be, you know, a great person, because their diversity, they show me how to be a better person. And it's just awesome to know that I have people around me that want to grow hard, work hard, whether it's through education, whether it's through their social environments, when we go out and hang out together, in our workplace. It's just a happy and great personal place.